It's Sunday, the 28th of March, and today's show is about recalibrating your message. Today, we're going to be looking at how you can reinvent your business, giving you two case studies at how Ernesto and Dave have reinvented our very own businesses, and also how big players like KLM are creating empathy rather than selling and losing customers. Coming live from Houston with Ernesto Verdugo and live from Dubai with Dave Crane, you are watching the Toilet Paper Diaries.
Hi Dave, no idea what happened there with the video. It got stuck at some point, but I guess it's Sunday, so I decided not to work today. How are you?
So hold on, is Sunday stuck video day? Is that how it works? From now on, Sunday is stuck video day, and tomorrow is challenging video day.
What happened to that video? It keeps on getting, I mean, it's not showing up, so let me see if I'll take it off. Anyway. How are you? We are right now on episode 10. I am really very excited that we have done so far 10 episodes. 2 weeks ago, we didn't even know that we were going to be doing this. And I think today is going to be very interesting because we're going to be talking about how to recalibrate your message post-COVID-19. So possibly, Dave, you can elucidate what do we mean with recalibrate your message?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we're going through a period where every single person who had a big business, whether it's bricks and mortar or digital, it was used to an old way of doing things, which until we had the reset, which is what we've called, or actually you created the phrase for what we're going through with the coronavirus, where everything's shut down and a reset button's being pressed on the entire world. So all businesses that used to exist are on hold. Some are doing well if they're already geared towards digital and they work from home. But for most businesses that have a hybrid of on and off line business, or certainly ones like restaurants where you've got to go directly in to enjoy the experience of doing it, they're going for a real change. So changing your message is part of changing your style, changing your model, and changing your route to market. And it might mean in many other cases, changing your client base as well. I'll be going through that with a specific rundown of the 4 things you need to use to be able to reinvent your business. But the idea of changing your category, changing your message is so key before you go to market.
So yeah, that's great. I think it's going to be a great show. Today, one of the things that we realized was that even though everybody's in lockdown, there's a ton of things also happening right now, also around the world. I actually saw when I woke up this morning that President Trump had just issued a bounty of $15,000, dead or alive, for President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela.
15 million, not thousand.
Oh,
million.
That's correct. That is million. $15 million just for him. However, he's actually have a 50 million for 4 of his closest people working with him. So I think, even though things are right now in lockdown, the world keeps on moving. What's on your end? What have you seen which is news and interesting?
Okay, I mean, certainly in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, we're still on lockdown. We've been given an extension of lockdown until the end of the week. But various government organizations and banks are working as hard as possible to make it easy for people. So businesses that are set up in free zones are given a 6-month stay of payment for their loans or for their rents, which is really good because obviously it's going to take a while, especially for small players who haven't got a big stock of cash, to be able to get their act together. In Sharjah, for the government schools, I've got to find out whether my daughter qualifies for that. If not, then she doesn't go back to school. They've been told for the 3rd term, there's no payment. You don't have to pay school fees for the 3rd term. Because we don't know when that's going to start, but it's going to be very interesting to see if that's a thing that spreads to all the other schools, because schools still have bills to pay, same as we do with rent and everything else. But I mean, most people will be thinking, why am I paying full school fees if we're not going in and using the facilities? kids are at home using our home facilities. How can you charge the same amount? Now, in the UAE, predominantly, people pay for private schooling. You've got to pay to get your kids to go to school. There's no, unless you are from the UAE and you're a national, you don't get it for free. And I realize that's different from many other countries. But certainly it feels like the government are trying as best as they can to make it easier for people to survive during this very hard time.
Yeah, that is something that I haven't even thought about. I mean, how, because of course, I mean, private schools are getting paid, and right now kids are staying in school. What's going to happen with that? That's an interesting point. You know what I was thinking also, which yesterday got me thinking. I was watching a video from Kevin Bacon that he has in TED, and possibly you are pretty much familiar with the 6 degrees of separation, which is a theory that everybody in the world is connected through 6 degrees. And right now I was just thinking, well, indeed, I mean, if we are connected to 6 degrees to any person, my question is, who do I know? Do I know anybody that is actually tested positive for the coronavirus? And I started going around, and I had actually, fortunately at this point, I had a difficulty actually pointing out more than 2 people close to 2 or 3 degrees of me that are that have tested positive. But I have the feeling that the closer that it gets to where we are, because what they were saying was that the 7th of April was going to be the worst time here in Houston. We were going to be keeping an eye on that. So one of my recommendations is to make sure that you keep an eye not only on your close circle, but also on your 2 or 3 degrees, so that you know you're empathic with everybody. And this is just something that I was thinking today.
I agree. I mean, it's natural for us to want to get closer to each other, to protect each other, but we really have to get closer and protect via video screen if we want to do it effectively. Right now, hugs and kisses and meeting with people to share ideas and share sympathy is the wrong thing to do, because I do know somebody, and I do know a family that's been affected by this. I won't mention who they are, but it's a massive challenge, and I feel for everybody involved. But remember, the virus is very strange in the fact that it does sit there and is unaware. You don't know for up to 24 days. You can show no symptoms, and then it can suddenly pop out. And I watched a very interesting TED talk this morning all about the source of the coronavirus and the nature of it and what it does. And what the presenter was saying was, she believes that the more that we're pushing up into the mountains and cutting down rainforests and expanding and doing climate damage, we are going to reveal more creatures that we just haven't been in contact with. And so as they come out, the natural thing is for people to eat them. And that's where we got the coronavirus from. It was meant to be from a market in Wuhan, where somebody was eating something, or somebody brought some animal that was infected. And that had a knock-on effect of everybody, and that's where it came from. I mean, eating bats and eating chimpanzees and all sorts of stuff like that, which many people do around the world, they carry all sorts of diseases, especially dangerous to humans, because the coronavirus isn't dangerous to dogs or other pets, as far as they know right now.
Yeah, I am getting here a message from Frank Mulcahy. He's telling us that he knows actually 8 people that tested positive in his surrounding. Well, it will be interesting while we are here. If you let us know, anybody else which is watching live the show, that can let us know where, how close they are in the 6 degrees of separation. Anyway, let's just.
Can we just say one thing, Ernesto, before we move on? That being positive does not mean that it's a death sentence. What positive means is that you've shown symptoms, and the symptoms that we look for are, first of all, dry coughing, consistent dry coughing for an hour. So, like for instance, during the show, when we clear our throats or sneeze, that's not necessarily anything apart from one of many other viruses that might be dancing around. So it's that's an hour of dry coughing with no mucus. That can happen maybe 3 times a day. Plus also your body temperature goes up to a point that if anybody touches your chest or touches your back, it feels really hot. These are the 2 things that people look for. So a lot of people will have it, get tested positive, but they actually won't feel much of it at all. They might have a little bit of a cold. But what you've got to do is basically isolate yourself for the 7 days for the symptoms to disappear. And the people that live in a house with you should do 14 days to make sure that whatever they have has come and gone as well. So being positive and being shown that you've got it is not the end of the world, but it is very important you do not share it with anybody else and you self-isolate to get through it as fast as you can.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I was sort of laughing a moment ago because it's true. I mean, right now, my concern is every time that I clear my throat or every time that I, cough because of whatever reason, I go into panic. And I think that's just something that I think it happens to everybody. Does it happen also to you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I went through it a lot worse before because literally until you know more about it. I mean, right now in Dubai, it's kind of winter. And so you've got a conflict as the temperature and the weather's getting warmer. You're fighting against air conditioning, which you've just switched back on again. So you end up getting silly colds, silly versions of the flu from the air conditioning cleaning it out and bacteria that's in and walking in and out of buildings. Typical for me, up until about 2-3 weeks ago, when everyone started panicking before the lockdown, is I'd walk into a shopping mall and suddenly going from the heat outside into the super cold of a shopping mall, I'd start sneezing. You should see the faces on people when that happens. And it's not great. So I became very aware of that and very aware to make sure when I walked in, I tried my best not to sneeze. And of course, it's an unconscious thing, so it can happen. So being aware that your normal colds, your normal aches and pains and runny nose and all these other things don't necessarily mean it's a coronavirus. Do your homework online, find out what it is, and don't bother the hospitals if you can avoid it. The pharmacies have got loads of things that they always have for drying up flus and colds.
Correct. Okay, so now let's try to move on because I think this is something that everybody has on their mind right now. And right now I'm very excited because Dave and I think that what we're doing here is it's just also we're trying to let everybody know that we're there for them. I believe that in these times, new leadership emerges. We have been possibly under the radar for many people on what we are doing, and we just want to make sure that you know that we are actually there. And because of this show, there was also now another spin-off for a show which is also going to be happening, which is called Prepare to Unmask, which I'm going to be doing, and also Dave is going to be helping us on that. It's going to be called Prepare for Unmasking. And this is something that I believe is very important. Right now, if we remember that story of Wayne Gretzky, he always said, well, I'm not playing towards where the ball is or where the puck is. I play toward where the puck is going. And we, of course, have to think, well, possibly it's going to be the 13th of May, possibly it's going to be the 1st of June, whatever it is, there's going to be an after. And that is just so incredibly important that we start preparing for this after. We're going to come out of this, and we have to know exactly what's going to be happening. So what Dave and I have been doing, and I think it's incredibly interesting, is just to see how people have been reacting. So we have those which are the people which are the optimists, which are saying, well, this is not going to last that long, or this is I'm not really going to be paying attention. This is a hoax or whatever it is. I mean, we have different people and different reactions, but right now everybody's actually realizing that this is very close and this is very serious. So you need to basically be realistic, not be negative or be positive or whatever. Be realistic. And don't be lethargic and don't just wait for nothing to happen, because I know already people which are coming up from their own from their own good to try to actually help people. And I think that's basically the approach. So there's two ways of seeing this. You have to see, well, actually there's three ways. You have pre-corona, what's happening, what you were doing before. You have the during, which is what is happening right now, and then you're going to have to work with what is going to be happening in the future. And this is the reason why we decided to actually call this episode Recalibrate Your Business, Recalibrate Your Message. Because the way that you're coming across in social media, the way that you're going to be coming across in social media afterwards, the message that you're going to be telling to your customers, to your prospects, has to change. Am I right, Dave?
I agree completely. And I'll be going through the steps of that for every business later on in today's show. Taking that actual area, I mean, your expertise, Ernesto, I want to ask you, your expertise is in about marketing and about reverse engineering success business strategies. So for the last couple of years, we've worked together on this. Your business, Speak Internationally, has been about getting people who are speakers who want to launch themselves on international markets and get them to create incredible show reels all around the world as part of your business travel club. Now, people can't travel. I know you're the 237th, 47th most traveled person on the planet, but when your business model is about creating show reels and teaching speakers how to market themselves by traveling around the world and being shown to be international, what do you do with your business?
Well, I mean, I am a fast action taker, and I, of course, as I was saying, I always play not towards where the puck is, but towards where the puck is going. And that for me, it's incredibly important, because I know now, I mean, everybody's saying, well, you know, you have to go and start doing webinars, and you have to do this and you have to do that. And I agree. To a certain extent, I agree that you're going to have to think how to do things differently. But more importantly, it's not what you have to do. You don't have to think what you have to do, but you have to start thinking right now who you want to be. Your branding is going to have to change. No matter what, your branding needs to change. Right now, people don't want inspiration. They don't want motivation afterwards of whatever you're going to be doing. They want solutions. So the problem is, what problems do you solve? That's just the absolutely most critical question that you need to ask yourself. You need to start thinking that you have to switch your message into learning of what happened with the toilet paper buying rush. Suddenly, I mean, because there was some sort of scarcity, everybody wanted to have the toilet paper. The question that I pose to you is, how can you make yourself desired as much as people desire toilet paper? I mean, you have to say, you have to, how can you make your customer think of yourself, oh my goodness, right now, Ernesto is the person that I need to work with, or Dave is the person that I need to work with, or Tommy or Frank or whoever it is, doesn't matter. How can you position in your mind as that? And I think that's why this time that we are here in lockdown, it's very important, because obviously we need to find out ways for people to see that we are leaders, for people to see that we are there to support them. And let me just quickly show you a video of what a Zumba teacher was doing yesterday in So as you can see on that video, she's doing the class in one house, and she's just playing the music very loud to everybody in the neighborhood to actually follow the Zumba class. I think that's just absolutely genius. It's just complete repositioning, it's complete reinventing. And of course, I mean, right now that video in Instagram has gone viral. So when we were thinking, well, you know, we know that this is going to be happening. We see people that are not doing anything, people which are just basically hiding in their own homes, people which are helping, and people which are making a positive change, or at least we think that we're doing a positive change like ourselves, by basically being in the front line. And that, I think, is one of the things that I am changing completely. I am basically helping people change their message for not what they were doing, because what they were doing afterwards is one thing. Right now, their message needs to be different. Their message and their branding needs to be different. And in the future, their message is going to have to change. So this is exactly how I reinvented my own way of doing things. And I'm also helping other people actually doing that.
Can we just make a point of saying one thing, which is, I feel for all the care workers, all the health workers who don't have the luxury of having this conversation about reinvention, the people who are working in shops, the people who are working in pharmacies, the people on the front line in hospitals, doctors, nurses, logistics people. I mean, they're busy, they're working, they're getting paid, but they're putting themselves in real danger to make sure that everything comes together. So the luxury we have of sitting at home and reinventing our business is paled into insignificance compared to what these guys are going through, and we should always be respectful of that. Saying that, with a friend of ours, we know he's got an online ordering business for teas and coffees, and he's making an extra $10,000 per week as a direct result. So well done to him. So it's not all doom and gloom. If you get it right, and you've got it right now, then you can start making money straight away. But you should also look to where things are going in the future. And I think you can make a huge impact and reinvent your business. And I'll be sharing with you exactly how to do that a little later on.
Yeah, let me just show you a couple of examples of. They're just obviously to laugh a little bit with it, but I think it's an interesting thing how create the creativity from people, and how this message that I'm actually sharing with you, it's already arriving into the consciousness of the rest of the people. They are saying, well, there's a before and there's an after. MasterCard was together. Now it's MasterCard is separate. In the case of the Olympics, I mean, you have also the Olympics were all together. Now it's all separate. Now, all of these different examples are just to laugh a little bit, but I think there's an important point that we can learn from it. I think I have another example here. Oh yeah, I have there McDonald's. So now it's also separate. So my message to you is, how are you going to how are you going to communicate your message? So let's go by steps. I think step number 1 is to think about what you're going to be doing right now. So right now, Dave and I, what we are doing is we are trying to have a, we want to be on the front line. We want to be helping people with this show. We want to be empathic. We want to give you some news and everything. Let me show you how KLM is actually doing it. I'm just going to let it play for a moment. And then we will come back, and Dave and I will discuss it.
Yeah, when will we share precious moments?
Slecht nieuws over KLM. Dus veel vluchten van en naar China werden geschrapt en ook op andere routes werden minder mensen vervoerd.
This deadly contagion is continuing to spread across the globe.
The airline industry taking a devastating hit.
Today, we are facing one of the largest crises in the history of our company. Let's stay united. United we stand, divided we lose.
There goes my heart beating, and you are the reason.
So here the whole point of what they're trying to do is, first of all, they're making their employees the superheroes. They are talking about being united. They're sharing some incredibly beautiful videos and pictures online of how they are providing masks and every single thing that every establishment of KLM is doing around the world. Instead of actually selling, there's going to be this offer to fly here or this offer to fly here. And for this point in time, I believe that this is the right way to do it. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things in sales is ultimately what you sell is certainty. You sell the certainty that when you work with somebody, the job gets done. You don't need to know, how they do the stuff on their planes, what kind of fuel they use, what kind of planes. Nobody cares. You just want to know that you're well looked after. You get from A to B in the best possible way. What they're doing right now is they realize nobody's going to be getting on planes until this is all fixed. But what we want to do is reinforce that we care about you. And so when you do start choosing, you'll choose us. It's a very smart way of doing it. It's very subtle, and it's all marketing rather than sales. But it's very important to create that empathy. Ultimately, what we're doing with the show is we're trying to connect and help people. I mean, there may be people who turn around and say, we want to do business with you now or afterwards. That's always great. But at the same time, there'll be people who just feel better being stuck on their own or being stuck in their house. And at some point, we'll meet them and they'll say, right, thanks for that. I recognize what you did. And that was great. Some people will watch this show every single day, and some people will just jump in, watch one, feel better, disappear, and so on. So I think that one of the reasons that we decided to go every single day with this show was just to make sure we gave the best possible opportunity for people on a daily basis to clock in, step away from Netflix, get something that's live, it's real, and it's up to date, and get some knowledge of how they can move forward personally emotionally, spiritually, and in business as well. That's why we did this in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, in my eyes, what we are doing right now. We're just in the face of what we're going to be doing, what we are doing right now, helping people and assisting people and everything. Later on, we're going to also be covering, well, how to prepare for this. And this is exactly what I am doing with all my customers and my prospects, the people that I was already dealing with. And this is another super tip that I want to give you. Instead of trying to, go and try to get more customers, focus on the people that you already know, that already know that you're somebody that provides some sort of value. Because this is the time to super connect with them, and this is just one of those really big tips. In fact, I mean, because I know that a lot of our people are right now, a lot of the people that I have been working with so far in the past years are watching the show. I invite you to reconnect with me, and I'll be very happy to just look over your message, what you're doing, and possibly giving you some advice.
How can we contact you, Ernesto?
Well, they can. I'll show you. They can just go to ernesto.today. So I think that would be the best way to do it. Let me just see if I can just put it here. Yeah, there we go. You can just go to ernesto.today, and then you can contact me either by WhatsApp. WhatsApp will be the absolutely best way for you to connect with me. And Dave, how are you reinventing yourself?
Okay, thank you for asking. One thing I was just going to say before I talk about how I'm reinventing myself, we're getting close to Ramadan, which on the Islamic calendar is a very important month of reflection and closeness and family. And similarly, during that time, people who don't understand what it means, it's like Lent, it's like 30 days of Lent for Christians. It's a time when some people get very frustrated about they can't get business done because people aren't interested in sitting down with them. But instead, what you do is you get close to families and you deliver gifts and you create relationships. And then after that's done, that's when things turn into business because people remember. So this is very similar to that kind of time. And that happens every year. And I've experienced that for 25, 26 years of being in Dubai. For my own side, my main business is two things. I train people how to be an international keynote speaker. And I'm an international keynote speaker. So I travel around the world speaking for big corporations and events, hosting big events as well, and getting people to be able to do the same kind of thing. So right now, I already have a coaching business. So I'm used to speaking to people all around the world online. Tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, I've got a dear friend, Monique. I'll be working with her straight away. I've got people all through the day that I'm going to be doing coaching sessions with, politicians and so on. As for my ability to go out and hold an event with a room full of people, going online is the key. Doing motivation through webinars and through Zoom and so on, reaching people in their home. And I'll tell you why it's so important to do it right now is because many people are used to working from home. You'd be surprised how many people work from home on a weekend and connect with people. It's kind of agile already. But I don't think anybody's been in a lockdown situation to experience it where they have no choice. So for many organizations, they will lose a lot of staff, and a lot of staff are really scared because they're just wondering, okay, I've got my money now, but will it stay forever? Should I leave? Should I do something else? And I think that the key to it is for people to understand that there are options, as well as staying in the business. You can be exactly where you are, but it means that reinvention that you talked about earlier. I'll be talking in depth about how to reinvent your business. And I think what we should do before that is just mention about Japan. And we can talk about that in a few moments' time. And then I'll tell everybody how to reinvent your business in 4 simple steps. And I think for that, if people want to start making some notes, I think it'd be very beneficial because it's based on how to do it before you spend money.
That's great, Dave. Right now we are getting we go back to you in a second, but we're just getting a call right now. As you were saying, somebody actually working from home, which is also a speaker, and we're getting our correspondent, Munir Al Busaidi, just straight from Abu Dhabi. So let's just hear what Munir has to share with us. So Let me see. Munir, are you there?
Who loves to entertain audiences and speak to people live in person, something that I'm very passionate about, and helping people. I've literally had to change a lot of the ways in which I work, and I've kind of had to transfer to a more digital way of speaking to people. I have multiple cameras, so I had to get clued up on technology really quickly, but also, being more mindful of different people's situations and putting out content that is really helpful to people, free content where people are experiencing more stress and anxiety than ever before. So sharing techniques and strategies of how to deal and overcome with the stress and anxiety and turn that into productivity and gratitude, actually. And also getting more creative in terms of how I entertain audiences, being in a room where you don't get people laughing and you can't feedback on the audience, but how can I find ways of entertaining audiences? And I've been quite creative. No, you haven't. What, Sheikhola, please, I'm trying to make a video right now and you're not helping. She's not wearing any pants. I am. I just want to let you know that I am totally wearing pants. I will show you, but I don't have to because I don't have to. So, anyhow, I'm gonna cut this short. Really, he's not. It's terrible down there. It's a nightmare. Help. Okay. Anyhow, I'm gonna move swiftly on. Yes, completely had to redefine how I do everything, but I'm gonna hand over back to you, Dave and Ernesto, in the studio, and I'll catch you on a video very soon.
So what do you think of that craziness? Talking about reinvention.
Munir is a dear friend and I love him dearly, and I think he needs to get checked out as soon as this is over for other reasons anyway. But it's great that he's shared that with us. Munir's a really talented guy. He's a comedian, he's a hypnotherapist, and he's also a digital expert. So he does regular shows like we're doing online. You can catch up with him there as well. But he's been sharing some input to our show as well, for which we're eternally grateful. But that's great. Thanks, Munir. You rock. Yeah. And don't give up the day job. I'm at Puppet. I don't need to ever see that again. Ever.
Hey, Dave. I'm gonna put you in a little bit of time pressure. So can you quickly, tell us the steps, and then I think we have to definitely make sure that we cover more in depth what you are doing, because I think more than anything, that I have even though that we have been friends for 25 years, I still have tremendous respect and admiration for everything you do and how you actually help people. So I think just by cutting you short in time because of running out of time on the show, it doesn't make justice to what you're going to be saying. So run us here on just a short sample of how you're actually helping your customers, and then let's make it a point that during the following week we're also going to be covering this more in depth.
Okay, so what you want me to do is a bit more about what I'm helping my customers with.
Well, you were going to mention 4 points. I would like to basically, put the light on you, because what you have been doing and all the stories that you tell me while we are having conversations, they're completely inspiring of how you're helping other people, reinvent themselves right now, and how you're helping people in the industry, like politicians, like show business people, and also the Dave Crane himself. So we would like to hear a little bit more about you. But once again, I'll keep on talking and I don't let you talk. So please.
Yeah, thanks. Goodbye. All right, thank you. I'll tell you very briefly what I do then. I work with a number of different people at the top level and all levels really about reinventing themselves. To become an effective speaker, you've got to have a different mindset. Most people have a fear of public speaking, and so the ability to go up on stage is something that they can't even imagine. But with effective stagecraft training, you can do. Now, the ability to get up and speak is not too dissimilar from the ability to post on social media. And I think that the evolution that everyone's going to go through now is not just because there's going to be a lot less gigs immediately because people won't go into crowded halls, but that will change in a couple of months' time. But right now, you've got an ability to connect with people online and create a brand new way of communicating with them. But if you can't generate content, you can't think about who you are and what you do, there's a real challenge to be able to even go to those levels. Now, why is this important? And why is it not just a small niche of people who want to become speakers? Because right now we're going for a reinvention of everything that we've experienced in terms of business. And so whatever you do, whether it's a side hustle job that sits alongside your existing job or something that you do as your main job, the more you can communicate, the more you can champion who you are and what you do, the better the opportunities that people will see you as an expert and then want to do business with you. So if you can talk and represent, people like to do business with people rather than with organizations. So for instance, when you talk about Apple, even though he's passed away for many years, it's still Steve Jobs. When you talk about Virgin, it's still Richard Branson. Facebook, still Mark Zuckerberg. And you can throw as many other names at it as you want, but they represent their brand. And now's the time when, with social media, it blends really well for people to find their personality, their message, and their ability to communicate. So I spend a lot of time building marketing businesses for speakers with business models that allow them to reinvent themselves. For instance, I've got a client I'm working with tomorrow afternoon, and that client is now talking to schools about how they can reinvent what they used to do in the classroom more effectively through doing it online. Because if they don't get it right, they will lose a large amount of their students who just won't come back again. And so to do that, you have to declare yourself to be an expert. You also have to be an expert at it. Now, most of us actually are. So it's a case of how do you get that message put together and how do you get that to people? And we have maybe, I would say about 20 to 40 different types of business connections that you have with people that take different sorts of conversations and versions of you, whether it's a webinar, or it's a boardroom, or it's a one-to-one, or it's a sales, or it's going out to meet or host an event, or meet dignitaries, or look after children. All of those have different communication styles. And I've been in the business for many, many decades. I would say from about the age of 3, and you can see there's grey everywhere. So I've had experience of all these different things. And what I love about it is it's not about me being a star. It's about teaching people how they can be stars, how they can dominate their industry, become recognized by everybody as being the best of what they do just by talking. And so that's what I find exciting. I think right now is a perfect time for people to be able to do that and find themselves and communicate their message to the world.
That's great. Dave, where can I ask people to contact you? And this is a very important question, because when you were asking me that, I didn't send them to my my website talking about me. That's absolutely not the case, and it's the same case here with you. I shared my own contact website, and that's what I want you to share, Dave. Where can they actually find your all your details, or your WhatsApp, etc., etc.?
Yeah, very simply, if you go to a website called www.thedavecrane.com, and you can see it there on the screen. If you go to that page, www.thedavecrane.com, it's just got my contact details on. Everything from websites to Messenger to phone number to WhatsApp. And the best way to do it is WhatsApp. I live on my WhatsApp all the time. Emails, I don't check that often, to be honest with you, unless I'm looking for one. WhatsApp means it's immediate. I can see it and I can respond to people very, very quickly. And so anybody who's got any inquiries and going, I don't know what you mean, I'm not sure, or I'm going through challenges, between myself and Ernesto, we do this for a living. We actually work on branding and creating effective business people and getting them out there onto stages and now online as well. So talk to me and I'll pass you on to Ernesto if it's more suited to him, and talk to Ernesto if he'll pass it on to me if it's more suited. And if neither of us can do it, we're connected to so many industry experts. I mean, through LinkedIn alone, I've got, 57,000 people. If it's something more suited to one of my friends and connections, I'll just directly connect you. Right now is the time for this community to come together and help everybody. And I won't lose anything by that. I'll be more than glad to get you to the right person to connect you to get your own success to work.
Yeah, I think on my side, what I will be very happy is to look at your not your website, but to look at your business and help you know what is how you have to brand yourself right now, and how you have to brand yourself afterwards. Just to close the show, I want to actually go to something that Dave was brilliantly showing me yesterday. I went through it and I said, wow, this is creativity and reinvention at the best. Google immediately, they responded super fast to what is happening right now. You cannot go to the zoo. You cannot take the kids to the zoo. So Google said, this is what I tell you. If you think of these kind of things, like the teacher that was doing the Zumba, to the entire neighborhood, or how you can do these kind of things, this is the kind of thing that we like doing. We have to think outside of the box and help people. And this is exactly what Google did. So yesterday I got a message from Dave and said, well, you can actually bring the zoo to your home. And I said, how does that work? So let me just show you this video. Here's my son, Vincent, and you can see him. This is our home, and here we have a tiger where he's actually petting and he's kissing him, and it's a virtual animal which it is there in your home. So Dave, possibly you can actually tell them how that works, because I think that's just absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a number of different animals that you can work with on this, and you can find them from lion to penguin to dog to rabbit to eagle. You put it into Google and it will come up with a number of different images as a normal search. But what will also pop up is a view in 3D as a button. I think it's in a blue circle, and you click on that. And what it does is you have to hold it down for a little bit before it responds. But once it starts responding, it's very effective because it takes a little while to download the software to find out, and you might have to walk around slightly or move your phone slightly in your living room so it can pick up the lighting of it, and then it starts transposing the creature that you've chosen into your living room. It's very exciting. It looks beautiful. It's very cool. And I think that if you've got kids in the house who are bored crazy, especially for younger kids, you can give them this option to play with, and they can start creating their own zoo. And okay, it's going to cost you because it's going to mean that they won't give you their phone back. But the list of creatures that you can use: lion, tiger, cheetah, shark, hedgehog, duck, emperor penguin, wolf, anglerfish, goat, Rottweiler, snakes, eagle, brown bear, alligator, horse, Shetland pony, macaw, pug, turtle, cat, octopus, dog, and golden retriever.
How do you remember all of that, Dave?
I'm good.
Do you remember all of that?
So good. It's all in here. I never forget. And you still owe me $10. On that note, I don't have to talk about it right now, but you do. I remember everything, Ernesto. Moving on, but I won't forget. Just as a passing note.
Okay, well, I would love you guys if you actually do that. Create some videos and share them with us in in our community, which is bit.ly give me paper. And I think it'll be really awesome to see some of those videos with this discovery that Dave has done. Share with us, how are you reinventing your business? What are you thinking? What is your messaging ideas? And we will be happy to explore them with you. I think we are running out of time. Dave, do you have something else?
One thing just before I finish, because I did promise to talk about it, and that's Japan, and why Japan has recovered faster than most other countries. And the thing is, Japan naturally has a thing about hygiene, cleanliness, and 60% of Japanese people wear masks naturally when they go out. And so there's hand sanitizers everywhere. Their attitudes are having a cold is you wear your mask anyway. And so what's happened is their restaurants, their parks, their businesses, their offices, everything is open as normal within a very short amount of time, because the changes that we're going through, having to lock ourselves in and clean our hands more, that's built in naturally to Japanese culture, even to wearing masks at home. And so when something like this comes along and scares everybody, the whole world shuts down, this will be the new direction I think many people will take. And it's natural for Japan and for their culture to actually have that. So the faster we take it on, the more we can just recover faster, like the amazing people in Japan as well.
That is a great point, and I think it's absolutely, Japan is a country that we have to be learning from. So Once again, let's just finish the show for today. Join us tomorrow at noon Central Daylight time in the United States, or what time in Dubai?
It's 9 o'clock normally, but it's 9:46 now, so we have talked quite a lot. But we are speakers, so that's what we expect. Share this show, by the way. Share it with your friends. Tell the world. Let's get more people helped by doing this.
Let's get the message out. Well, this has been episode number 10 from the Toilet Paper Diaries. See you tomorrow, same time. Bye-bye.